Oh yeah, it looks like I have a few broken pins here. You know. Yeah, I'm seeing a broken pin, one right there, and I have two more right over here. So yes, once I see this now, a little smirk come on my face. And I say, soldering project. So yes, I'm gonna see if I can repair these broken pins from these ports and see if I can get the USB front port to work. Yes, people, welcome to Teaching Myself Electronics. This is episode 7, fixing my broken USB pins. Can it be fixed? So I got this old PC from a neighbor. Old Windows 7 Intel Core i5. I don't even know. Yeah, see, I would just install Battlesera on it for some retro games, put it in the corner of my basement and just run some retro games on it. But I think my neighbor did say there's a problem with the front USB ports. So I'll open it and see what it looks like. Yep, it's a ratness. Alright. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna have to clean up this machine as well. So yeah, this will be a challenge with my soldering skills that I'm learning now. So I'm gonna see if I can repair these pins, replace them. I thought about a wicked way how to actually remove the broken pins, remove the donor pins, and then I'm going to solder them. I don't even think that they would sell pins. Do they sell USB pins? I doubt that. So I just want to have to get them from my old board. So I'm going to be showing all of that and see if I can get this repaired and working. All right, so I need to get this cleaned up. But you know what? I'm going to go more outside because this is very, very dusty. Yeah, I need a mask for this as well. All right, let's clean this up, remove the motherboard, and see if we can take a closer look on the pins, and then see if we can get this working. And I'm gonna use this hand vacuum and this hand blower and my brush. Oh, hold on, not ready yet. Hold on. Which one is which one? All right, vacuum first. I think I might need a bigger vacuum, but let's try this one for now. I lost the nozzle for this. Yeah, this doing some work, but because I don't have the nozzle, it's kind of difficult. So I'm gonna go straight in with the blower. All right, let's go. Alright, so looking at the pins, I have one bent pin here, and I have one broken here, and I have another one broken on the inside here. Alright, so I have the board out. Now let's get into the real fun part, soldering. Let's go. Alright, so we have our donor board here. I'm going to identify some old pins that I can extract from this board to use on the board we're trying to fix. Okay, so on the donor board, I identify some serial pins here that I think I can use. So I'm gonna see if I can extract maybe about 3 or 4 of them, just in case. The donor board to the side. Let's see if we can identify these pins that we're looking to repair. So this one here, we have a bent pin and we have a broken pin beside it. So I won't even try to straighten this bent pin. I probably will just remove this one that's bent and just try to replace it. But anyway, I'm going to take a look at the other set of pins that I have. I think one was broken on the other side. I need to replace. Yeah, so this one here have one pin broken. I'm guessing this is the SD card reader. So, you know what? I think I'm gonna fix this one first, see how will it turn out, and then we can move on from there. All right, so we have our donor board back, ready to do the pin extraction now. So just identify any 3 or 4 pins that I want to remove. And the technique here, I'm going to see if I can cut one of these pins and then try to use it to push the pins out from the motherboard. All right, so I just realized that I cut the pin, but it's going to be a bit too short. It won't be able to do what I want it to do. So I'm going to try, I'm going to use one of these LED legs. I'm going to cut the leg from the LED, use that pin to push the pin out from the motherboard. So I have my cut pin that I'm going to use as the pusher. I have my solder iron ready, my heat gun ready, and my needle nose pliers. These are the 4 things I'm going to need. So first thing, I'm just going to heat up the board, the pins a bit from the base, because I'm going to be pushing the pins from this side out. Right, these are the donor pins we're trying to extract. So heat gun, hot here, applying some heat. I'm going to apply some double heat now just to give the pin a little push to start off with. And then the objective will be to get these solder melted from these pins, then use the cut pin that I have from the LED and push the pin through. The LED pin is not so strong, so I'm going to do going forward. Once I extract the first pin, I'm going to use these pins that I'm extracting because they're stronger, they don't bend easy. And then I'm going to use these pins to do further extractions of the pins going forward. So right now, just applying some double heat with the solder iron and the hot here, while I push the pins through the other side using the pin that I cut from the LED. So I'll just extract about 3 or 4 of them, and then I'll move over to the main board to get the other broken pin extracted from that one, and then solder these pins that are extracted in. So we're done with the donor board for now. So now we're going to move over to the main board, the board I'm trying to fix. I'm going to extract the broken pin from this board and then solder the pin that I extracted from the donor board here, and then let's just see how it turns out. So it's the second pin from the right. When I turn it over, it's going to be the second pin from the left. So right here, this is the pin that we're going to be removing. This is the broken pin. The same procedure as before: needle nose pliers, hot air gun, solder iron, and the pin that we're going to use as the pusher. Remember, I told you that earlier we used the LED pin, but that one is a bit fragile and it gets bent easily. So the pin I'm using now is actually one of the old pins that are extracted from the motherboard. It's stronger and it can do the push way better than the LED pin. So same procedure, just apply some heat, wait till the solder melt, needle nose pliers, push through, and that's it. So we're only doing 1 pin here, so this is good. All right, time to turn it over and then see if we can pull this pin out. The pin should be out from the board, but we have a plastic casing around the pins that might hold it. But let's see if we can actually pull this one out successfully without any issues. Yeah, you can see the plastic casing is kind of lifting from the board. This happens when we heat and then we're trying to push the pin. The pin is so tightly onto the plastic casing, it's trying to push everything out. And when the heat is applying to the rest of the pins, it will loosen the rest of the pins and try to push out more than 1 pin. So this right here is an issue that we have to try to fix going forward, because it makes the work a bit more tedious than it should be. I'm trying to remove 1 pin and I mean 4 or 5 pins coming up, right? So alright, so this look like a pin. Well, actually I could try to maybe apply some type of lubricant, maybe alcohol or flux, and then try to push down the plastic casing over the other pins and then remove the pin that I want. But right here, I'm trying to see if I can apply some heat from the base again and push through the broken pin and see if that will work. But that did not seem to work. Still having the issue with the plastic casing over the pins. I think what I'm gonna have to do is just break all these pins, these 4 pins that's lifting up, remove them, and then try to resolder all 4 of them. Then I'm gonna try a different technique and see if I can get this done more cleaner. So stay with me. So I'm just trying to remove all the pins and the end. I think about 4 pins that got affected. Just gonna remove them totally and then try to resolder them. Apologies, my microscope was actually out of range when I was trying to remove the pins. So I got the 4 pins out, and now I'm trying to resolder them one at a time. So the objective here, I just put the pin in the hole, then I'm going to apply some heat, and at the base of these pins, there are still some solder. So once the heat melt the solder, the pin is just going to slide into place, right? Also using the soldering iron to apply some heat and then to push the pin down. But I think I actually push it too far, and I don't want that, because if you look at the other pins, they have a little bit of the pins pushing up to allow for soldering onto the board. Yeah, so I messed up here. When I was pushing the pin down, the heat from the solder gun, once the solder melted from the base of the pin, it just sent it right through too quick. So I'm gonna have to try something else with the other pins, but I'm trying to get this one to push it back up a bit, but it's difficult to apply the heat from the other side. I think what I'm going to do is I just removed it totally. I'm going to go again. This time, I'm going to use my tweezer to hold the pin, position it into the hole of where I'm trying to solder it, and then apply the heat, and then slightly use the tweezer to tap it as far down as I want. So let me try this and see if this works better. Yeah, 100%. This works way better than using the solder iron to push the pin down. If you notice, the solder melt, and then I'm just keeping the hot air on it, and I can use the tweezer to slightly push the pin down as much as I want, right? So the pin is still there. It's a bit up too much, so I'm going to put it down just to keep it a bit level with the rest of the pins, and enough of the pin out so I can solder it to the board. So yeah, this is definitely way better than using the soldering iron. All right, so that's 1 down and 3 to go. Alright, the pins are in. I don't mind if they're a bit bent. I'll straighten them once I get the soldering done and they're enforced. So let's do that. Soldering done on the pins. So now I'm going to see if I can straighten these pins as best as possible. Yeah, I think that looked good enough. And if you notice, I have a piece of the blue plastic strip broken off the 4 pins from earlier. So I'm going to try this again, different technique, and see if I can get the pins removed more cleanly without damaging the plastic casing and also without affecting other pins. So if I want to remove 1 pin, I want to remove just 1 pin cleanly. All right, let's try that. All right, new technique. I'm going to try to remove this black plastic casing from around the pins and see if I can be able to remove that 1 broken pin without affecting the others. The plastic casing is just snug really tightly, so if I use some type of lubricant, I mean not really lubricant, but any liquid I think would work. I'm going to try alcohol and see if that can loosen up the pins from the plastic casing, and then I'm going to try to pull it off. Success. A little bit of effort, but we did get it off. And this is what it looks like without the rubber casing over the pin. So right here, I think I should be able to extract this one broken pin without affecting the rest. So let's see if I can get this one cleanly out and then solder a new pin in. Same as before, you know the technique. Heat gun, solder gun, use a pin as the pusher to push through while heating with the heat gun. So yeah, we got that pin pushed out, and now we're gonna see how cleanly it came out on the other side. Yeah, that looked like it came right through without causing any issues with the other pins. So yeah, without the rubber casing, it's definitely easier to get the pins out. Alright, so I'm going to quickly install a new pin, apply some solder, and then do a quick test. Alright, pin replaced, pin soldered, looking good. We just need to straighten them, and then we can test, see if we can plug a connection back into it. So this is an old video card, and I can only do a plug-in to the port test using another video card. So this was a VGA connection to the graphics card that I was testing the pins. So now I'm just going to test a physical plug on and see if I can actually get this VGA connector to plug into the pin securely. Yes, and this looks like it's a go. This looked good. So I was able to replace the pin cleanly, and then I was also able to plug in the VGA connector back to the port. I was trying to get the plastic casing back onto it, but it was a bit difficult, so I just skipped it altogether and just left it off. But I'm satisfied with this. Alright, now let me see if I can get the connectors plugged on to those motherboard pins that I repaired earlier for the 2 ports. So out of first, the USB pin here, I'm going to see if I can get this one plugged in. I straightened the pin as best as I could. So yeah, that looks like it went on pretty good. That's good to go. Alright, for the next pin, which is, I think this one is the SD card reader. This was the blue plastic casing that got damaged in the process. So let me see if I can get this one connector plugged in as well. Yeah, sometimes you have to make sure the pins are absolutely straight. And yeah, so I got it. This one went in. And I would recommend doing this because the pins would not be as straight as when it's coming from the factory. I think it's best to try to get the connectors plugged in with the motherboard outside before you put it in the case, because it might be a bit more difficult in the case. So we have come to the end. We got the pins repaired, we got the connectors connected back, looking good. So once again, thank you for staying with me to the end of the video. Remember to drop a like, subscribe. My name is Lexx. So until next time, big up yourself. Peace out.